everyone. Welcome back to the C Morning Show right here on C. Today, we're going to talk about Indonesia right now, as the world's largest Muslim majority country is a melting pot of culture, fashion, and also business in recent years. Now, Muslim women in Indonesia have been at the forefront of the hijab fashion industry, redefining the concept of modesty and creating a thriving business.
Indeed, and in fact, this hijab fashion industry has witnessed exponential growth in recent years. This created a thriving market for the hijab fashion, with local designers and entrepreneurs leading the way.
That's why I jumped on the wagon. I have a modest fashion brand also. And there's a platform called Modestock, which I follow religiously, that allows networking among players in the modest fashion industry, with it brand owners, fabric suppliers, designers, even fashion influencers from not only Indonesia, but across the region also. Now, this space right now, we're going to share topics relevant to the industry. And joining us today in the studio to share her experience, and the Modestock founder, Hanna Faridl. You are the founder of this. Good morning, Hanna.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Finally, I'm going to meet with you in person. Such an honor. Let's talk about Modestock right now first. When did you found this, and what was actually your initiative for this?
So, it was started in 2019. I just had my third kids.
Okay.
I just resigned from my previous work, so I was stumbled on some Spotify podcasts, listening to some business podcasts about entrepreneurship and then about startup. And I was thinking, is there any podcast talking about modest fashion? Well, there's no podcast. There was no media talking about the modest fashion industry, specifically talking about business. So I was thinking, I talked to Hanna. Back then I talked to Hanna, and then I asked her how to make a podcast. And then I asked some friends from the brands that I know them in person, and then I interviewed them, and then I asked them to share what is behind the brands, what is the upside down, the worst story about building a brand.
Their challenges.
Yeah, the challenges, the problem and everything.
Yes.
So there goes the story goes.
I know, it's really huge too, by the way. We're going to talk about one of the events that you just hold.
Right. So why did you feel there was a need? You mentioned business as a big part of this. What were some of the reasons that you felt needed this sort of platform for those business owners in regards to modest fashion?
Yeah, because there is no platform or media that is connect everybody in this industry. So I feel like this is the moment to connect everyone in the industry, so the ecosystem will get stronger and then bigger. So we have this spirit to support each other.
Right.
Is it for on more business knowledge and experience, or is it in regards to the latest trends, or does it cover pretty much everything?
Personal stories too.
Yeah. Personal stories, business related. Even we have this community group that share the information about how they get the suppliers, what is the margin, and then where when or where they goes to the confection, the supplier, and the production, distribution, and all the problems.
This is very unique.
In a daily basis.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, because most of the times businesses are generally in competition with each other, and you don't get a lot of information sharing, where this is the exact opposite.
Right, because we see a lot of the MSMEs right now, especially in Indonesia. We know that the Muslim, we have a Muslim majority in the world and whatnot. And it's great that when you have businesses, you have the fully support of each other. Like you were saying before, we're not against each other, but we're kind of supporting, because there's a lot of cakes to share, right? Especially in this business. Now, I want to go back just before, where Modestock is. Were you in the business sector before you had Modest?
I was in the industry for 13 years.
Okay.
13 years. So it was started in 2010. I make a blog. So I was a blogger.
Okay.
Sharing about the outfit of the day, the daily routine, the routine for me as a Muslim hijabi woman. Back then, I get limited opportunity because of my hijab. So I share that experience through my blog. Then from that blog, I get many opportunity making brands, Muslim brands, and then I also joined a Muslim e-commerce as a community officer and then a merchandise officer.
That's right. You have already a very solid foundation on your background for that. And you know, Indonesia is known as the Mecca of modest
the Qibla
fashion.
of modest
Exactly.
Yes.
How do you see that now venturing? We see a lot of upcoming businesses and whatnot, and even to the one that's already go out to Paris Fashion Week. Every Fashion Week now we have a lot of Indonesian Muslim designers that's already going out and abroad. How do you feel seeing it's escalating right now to where it's?
I feel confidence. I feel blessed, and I also feel optimistic because I can see the modest fashion industry can support the Indonesian economy.
That's very true, not just during this month, but throughout the
Yes.
entire year. So you've actually now expanded to, you have social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, but most importantly, you have that podcast series that you talked about. What have you learned throughout the time doing this podcast that were the main issues or some of the concerns that are right now affecting the modest fashion industry?
So basically, every brand has the same problem in each stage.
Okay.
So the first 5 years, they have the same problem with, which is the production.
Yes.
Okay.
How to get the right supplier distribution, and then how to get the price strategy.
Okay.
The next 5 years, they will face how to double up the production and how to distribute their product. Is it going online or offline?
Right.
So they will face the next 5 years. After 1 decade, they will face the real problem where the consumer shifting.
Yes.
So they have to stay relevant with the customer.
Right.
So yeah, the problem basically the same. So we want to share it through our platform that everyone can be related to the problem.
Right. So there are some challenges, but there are some solutions also.
Yes.
Especially if you go to Modest Talk. And it's good. It seems that we, these Muslim women have this supporting group, and that's what I love about it. That we're being more confident in our own businesses and whatnot. Also, in your platforms, there are also some sharing sessions, especially if you're talking about personal challenges when before you're a hijabi and now you're a hijabi. What really made you want to become a hijabi and convert to wearing your headscarves and whatnot? Is there any particular sharing sessions that really memorable for you that really kind of changes your aspect and perspective too?
Okay, so
I know you have a lot, Savannah. You're like, which one?
Which one?
But if you can pinpoint just one story.
So there was one session online during the pandemic. We talk about how to survive to build the modest fashion brand, and we are talking about people, how to handle people.
Okay.
So that session becomes so emotionally, and everybody in the session is crying because they feel frustrated. They don't have friends. They don't know when to talk and how to discuss this because they feel like they are the owner. They feel like they have to know all the answer of the problems.
Yes.
So they
Right.
just cried.
Yeah.
So that session became very memorable because I know that Modest Talk is important for the modest brand because we
Yes.
can support each other.
Even the personnel, right? So I mean, even the people itself.
And most
because
of them
it's
are
relatable.
mothers.
Exactly.
So it's getting more personal.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, integrating a business into your family life is definitely not an easy thing. So now that we have reached a stage, you have been in the industry for almost a decade and a half. Where do you see us going forward? Especially now that, as Caroline mentioned, we are what other countries look to for the modest fashion industry. So how can you see us growing even more going forward?
We have to be the keyblade of Muslim fashion
Yeah.
because out there, they don't see us as the kiblat. They see still not Indonesia as the kiblat. So we need to be the kiblat of Muslim fashion since we are the biggest Muslim country.
So we need to strengthen our position globally,
Yes,
right?
globally, yes. And then we have to have the stronger ecosystem, a solid community, and we need to show it to the global community.
Yeah.
Right. And alongside from all your social media platforms, your podcasts and whatnot. I know that just recently you hosted a very huge event. Is this the biggest one for Modest?
Yeah, the biggest one with more than 3,000 audience per day.
Right, and you also have a place where the businesses or the small businesses or local brands can be there also
be-
to lead
Sell
shows.
the-
Oh,
and sell
really?
their clothes and
How many
whatnot.
days was the event?
2 days.
2 days.
And you invited also a Muslim entrepreneur called Fifi Yusuf. I'm a big
from
fan of her from Malaysia.
Malaysia, and
She also made a
She
book.
was very surprised with the community in Indonesia
Right.
because she cannot see the community like this in Malaysia.
Right.
So she can see it, and she got invited with the Muslim brand in Indonesia, and she really surprised because we are very solid, very supportive to each other.
Great prospect already right there. So I
Yeah.
mean, from that, from social media platforms to podcasts, now you're making off-life events. Where is
Hopefully
Modest Talk
yearly,
shifting?
annually.
Yes.
Okay, once a
Love
year.
that.
Is this something that perhaps could be expanded to other countries in the region as well? I mean, if obviously a country like Malaysia, those are our neighbors, and they have a large Muslim community as well. Would you perhaps consider an option of having a branch?
Hopefully, I have the support from the industry. I also get some DM, direct message from some influencer and
Oh,
business
wow.
owner in Malaysia to make the event together. So
There you
hopefully,
go.
next year we'll become global.
Modest Talk
Amen to that.
hits the road.
Yeah, and we're not only as the Qibla for the modest fashion industry, but for the Muslim community as well as Southeast Asia region. We've catered Myanmar, having a Muslim community almost everywhere where you think that there's no Muslim community or a very small minority. Now they're kind of emerging, and hopefully through Modest Talk, people are just more
Hopefully.
confident enough.
Yes, yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Bismillah.
Bismillah. Oh my goodness, Hanna, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
being
for
here
coming
with us.
you.
Definitely through Modest Talk, you not only give confidence to our business or our Muslim business owners, but also to some individual to grow. right?
Agree.
Yeah.
Amen.
All right, anyone there, thanks so much for being here with our talk show or joining us right now. But we have many more to come right here on our show. But next up, we have our segmented Salam Ramadan, so stay tuned right here on the C Morning Show.